it out there. So the one thing I noticed is over here on the American side, if I can bring my headquarters units up enough, I did create a breakthrough, which is what I wanted, but I can grab Saint Malo for 1 victory point, Rions for 1, Nantes, Saint Nazaire, Angers, and Tours. I can get 11 victory points if I can actually take Nantes and Saint Malo, or Vannes
Well,
and Saint
Saint
Malo.
Malo is a Festung as well.
Yeah, yeah, I can take it though.
What does the Festung do? Fortress in
It
German.
it's a fortress, and it ignores like retreats and stuff, but it also is like an extra step. So I got to do 3 points of damage to it basically. But that 031, I think only it might have a reverse side. I don't know. But yeah, it's tough to take, but I've got enough to take it. It's just a matter of what does he leave out. Because if he leaves enough out, and he doesn't look like he's defending against the Americans, I'll just do an end round with the Americans. Do like Patton did, and go down by Angers, Tours, and go that way towards Orleans or Paris. Which I think
Well,
I'll keep. Go ahead.
well, no. This, the question there is: are you going to go for VPs? Or are you going to go for the kill? You know, because he's thin on the western flank there, isn't he? He is thin. You've punched a hole through, bypassed a couple of his guys, and he doesn't really have a lot of mobility on that flank to build a new line.
Yeah, but the question is like I said, I've got 3 victory points and I need 14 to win. So I've got to take 11 victory points. And each of those major cities is 1. Saint Nazaire is 2. If I can go, Le Havre is 2. That V1 site is 2. Rouen is 2. So if the British can punch through and take out that 1093 and the 232, if I can take there and exploit north, I could maybe take Le Havre with the Brits. And if I can pull the carpet bombing marker, I can take any hex on the board.
Yeah, the thing is though, the marker stays at the beginning of your next turn, so you cannot draw it on consecutive turns, can you? Because it won't go
Good
back
point.
into the bucket until the turn after. So they're not going to recycle that quick, even if you get lucky.
Good point. Good point. But still, I've got a couple of I got an air support marker out there and a couple other things. So I think what I'm going to do is take the 1074 armor unit, the 4th Canadian, bring it over, and I'm going to go after Hex 2111. And I think if I can take that out, I will exploit across the river and then exploit attack. I think Le Havre is also under a Festung, isn't it?
Probably.
Yep, but maybe going after it will force him to come after me. And while he's concentrating over there, the Americans are going to swing around and just start going for victory points. Any comments, Tim,
Well,
John?
the Commonwealth have taken a few losses, so you got a lot of reduced guys over there on the eastern flank. There ain't that many full strength guys. That means you're a bit fragile.
Yeah, not a lot I can do about it. Any comments, John?
Do the Germans have any support markers as strong as your air support?
Yep, they've got air support markers too.
Yeah, I guess depending if they drew that, that could turn the tides a little bit on what they're able to do.
Yeah, he's only going to get 1, and he may not be able to actually use it, simply because if he wants to replace a Panzer step, he has to use it for that. If he wants to rail move, he has to use it for that. So, he may not be able to use it. But you're right. You got to keep that in mind. Plus, I rolled pretty low this last time. If I roll just a little bit higher, I can get 3 support markers. And I've got the Patton support marker. That was a reinforcement. Patton's kind of cool. His reinforcement marker just allows you to do a bunch of extra crap. Let me see real quick. It makes the unit that you get, you attach them to a unit, it gets an elite bonus. The tactical results are applied. If it's a clear terrain hex, E and E2 results become E3. Wow. Wow. You can ignore rivers. You can do all sorts of stuff with Patton, so I'll bring him on this turn too. So, anything else, guys?
Yeah, those support
No, I think you did
markers
well.
are a really interesting part of the game.
Yeah, they're kind of neat. You can see though they did what they were supposed to do, which is punch holes. The problem really is okay, I broke out, but Carl's, I mean, he plugged his holes pretty well, and then now, yeah, the Americans can kind of come around, but I got to use my infantry to mop up his units they left in the bocage back there, which is fine. That's kind of what they're there for, but it's going to be tough for me to take that many victory points.
You got a lot of reduced strength American ones, but you still have a bunch who are full strength, and it's really a matter of he's fragile, so are you in a way. You're fragile to the counterattack, and I think him leaving his couple of out of supply guys there also means you got to deal with them. They may not be that strong, but it's still something you have to worry about, and they can't just swan on by. On the way to to exploit into France. So Germans got to play a very delicate balancing act there of knowing when to attack.
Yep. Let's bring Carl back.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay, I'll go off. Go ahead, Carl.
Well, I took a bit of a shellacking with a whole lot of air support. So, questions?
Yeah, that's true. You did take a beating, but he has to get quite a few points to win. Are you focusing on an area map to kind of guard, or what's your strategy now?
Well, the idea is really he's got to come towards me and towards Paris to have a chance. I mean, if he starts moving way up to the left, I mean, it'll be kind of obvious. And if I can hold from Le Mans, eastward, I might do okay. The question is, can I hold? I mean, if he keeps drawing air support like that, then I don't know if that's going to happen, but I'm going to have to see what happens.
I think that was okay. He's got that. He ain't, he's got to be bloody lucky to get the same amount of same quality of support markers as that. So, it's going to be down to the luck of what gets drawn, but he ain't going to just pull that again and again and again. He can't. Can he? So
yeah, I don't think he
that
can.
was just like his one big flourish at the beginning, which okay, he's gonna have more aircraft, but he ain't gonna have as much as that. Hopefully. Now my question.
Well, we'll have to see.
You've got a bunch of infantry divisions, pretty reasonable ones in 1611. They're almost in a bulge in the line there between the Brits and the Yanks.
Yeah.
What do you plan to do with them?
Well, I figure since his armor went to the far left, I can hold maybe one more turn. I don't know. It really depends what he does with that Canadian armor unit that's behind the Wyverns. I would like to try to pull them back, but
well, yeah, because bocage is good defensive terrain for your infantry, isn't it?
Right. That's why I didn't want to pull them out too soon and just give them all the, all the stuff. But so I'm hoping they can hold one more turn.
The rough is defense ×2 as well.
Yeah.
Is that the brown?
Yeah, the just below that unit he was talking about, you'll see some mountains there, kind of. That's the rough terrain.
So if you guard 13, 16, 17, 15 in Paris, is that going to be enough territory to let you keep him from getting 14 points?
Well, again, if he start, Reigns is pretty much a given that he's going to get it. but after rains, he starts spreading himself, I'm hoping, thinner to where I can react. You don't want... What you want to do is force him west, because then he wastes a whole bunch of time trying to move, that way, and you have a chance of actually cutting him off. The trick is you got to kind of hold together while he does that. So I don't know if that's going to work or not. And it really depends, I think, on how much I can push east to west. So we'll have to see how this all pans out. I think, no offense to Tim, pounding on the British is a better option. And
Yeah, that
we
makes
can
sense.
see.
They're weaker.
A little bit, yeah.
Well, they've taken a few stat losses.
Yeah. It's what I was kind of hoping for. And then if you can thin them out, and then basically I've got to hold all the support markers I can get for armor replacement. I've got to get my Panzers back up, and I've got to hit them with my Panzers. And I just got to keep pounding on them.
So if you were to get an Air Force air support, you would use that to reinforce your Panzers rather than using it for attack?
That would be a hard decision, but I don't think I have any air support, actually. Oh, I do. I have one. And it's a +2. I also have some artillery that's +2. And I get a Tiger tank that can be a +2 as well. So I'd have to consider the Panzerfaust halves his armor when he attacks, which is kind of nice, but it's not. I think getting my steps up is more important.
It's all down to timing, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. So, excuse me. Yeah, I mean, my Panzers at full strength, even their defense is, I think, higher than having his attack. So, and again, it halves his attack. It does not have the bonuses he got from the air support. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. So, we'll see how this next... Yeah.
Where
No,
are you build a defensive line over in the east, or sorry, the west?
In the west,
in the bocage on the hills.
If I can reach the bocage before he gets there, I'll try. But I don't see that happening. I see it more as he'll take rain, and I'm hoping rain will be kind of a distraction for him. And then I'll have to see if I can get over to Saint Nazaire or Lorraine. I mean, those units are under what they call a fast tongue marker in Lorraine and Saint Malo, which means they're harder to get rid of. So I'm kind of hoping that they can hold out. Again, I gotta let him spread out and see, I can't fight him when he's all concentrated like this. I mean, it just, when he pulls a support marker, it's devastating, so I gotta get him spread out a little and then try to pick him apart.
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
So, yeah, that's my basic plan. Any other questions?
No, I'm good. Anything, John?
No, I like that plan. Like letting them spread out and then maybe picking them off piecemeal if you can.
It'll be tough. I'm under no illusions that it's going to be easy. Just, that's the best I can see happening. So, I will get off now, and you guys can do your quick commentary or whatever, and then we'll wrap it up.
Okay, thanks.
I'm off.
He's off. So we're in the mobile phase, aren't we? Now we're just changing from the battering ram to the subtlety of speed and movement, and also the danger of open country.
Yeah, that's true. I couldn't see what both sides were going for, but now that they talked about it, it makes more sense.
Yeah, I know that Brett's talking about going to the west there. I wouldn't like to underestimate those fortresses because many of them did hold out to the end of the war, and they had to be reduced. The ones that were taken were reduced in detail by basically sieges, so they're going to be tough to take on the run. The trouble is for Karl is his guys come on over in the east, which means it's hard for him to get his main defensive units, which is the infantry, get them into blocking positions to slow him up. The question, I think, is going to be a guts issue between whether Brett's got the guts to push his luck and go far and fast, and whether or not Karl has got the guts to turn round and smack him when an opportunity arises. It's one of those things where it could be that one player basically talks himself out of being aggressive and doing a pattern move of screw it, go for it, risk everything to gain everything. And this is when they getting into the mind of the other player and listening, especially when we listen to them talk about it. It's always funny when you hear one guy talk himself in and out of a plan because he's worried about the other guy, and the other guy may not even see the same thing.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think it's going to be a tough decision to decide, like you said, how many units do you move to the west, like to Laurent, where those fortresses are. It's going to be a very delicate balancing act to capture those points.
Well, his HQ in Le Mans is got a large range. That's going to be key to moving guys over. That makes some of those rather pathetic movement allowances of 3 into 6, and that's quite a long way. So Brett's going to have to set the pace. The question is he going to go? He can get Rennes pretty damn easily. He could probably throw a cordon around Saint Malo. The question is, does he have enough to how thin is his line of his exploitation?
Does Karl have any chance of taking out the headquarters guy? Is that a about viable strategy?
Which one?
The Allied leader, keep him from being able to move so fast?
I doubt if Brett would leave a HQ that vulnerable, because they seem to be pretty well defended at the moment. Now, I actually wondered whether it was worthwhile for Karl to try and take out the Big Red One, the US 1st Infantry Division in 1510, to try and get his guys who are surrounded out of there, or whether he's just going to basically let them wither and die where they are.
Can Brett just ignore those guys that are surrounded?
It would be dangerous to do so, because then you're going to have to make sure you maintain a strong enough cordon around them. Especially as this game doesn't really have Zocs. Zocs can be very powerful for throwing a cordon around units, but it doesn't. This is a bit more fluid than that. You actually really have to form a complete line of them around it to fence them in. So Brett's going to have to deal with that. It's not amazingly strong, but it's another attack that you've got to do. It's more guys that are slower to get up to the front.
Yeah, it is a 9 attack. It's not terrible.
Well, the infantry, there's no infantry there, so the artillery, the armor is halved, is it, in defense? Or is it only halved in attack? I have to look.
Yeah, I think the defenders get an advantage. I can't remember if it's just infantry or armor.
Okay, so it looks like the armor are not doubled, so it's face value. Then they'll be halved for being out of supply. So it's basically 4. Doesn't. If only he had an infantry unit there.